Inmates, how's life behind bars? Not these bars, these bars. If you've been following my Instagram and TikTok reels, you will know that this bike is going into a raffle prize draw. I thought it'd be very fitting to bring the bike out here. This is where you first saw the bike. If you go back through all the videos over 3 years ago, this is where the bike was delivered. This is where I first revealed it after we stripped the bike down. Do you remember that video? This bike was stripped down into pieces in my living room. And my wife even helped to support the bike under the axle stands. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link down below and put a little link up here so you can see it. Today's date is the 6th of June. The raffle draw is open now, so there's a link down below, take you straight through to it. I've literally just done my last road trip on there with my daughter Sophie, so I'll put some footage on the screen now so you can see this only last week. As soon as I got back from that road trip, we did around about 2,000 miles on it. As soon as I got back, I sent it to the detailers, had it fully detailed. If you remember rightly, I had the bike ceramic coated 3 years ago, but we had like a top-up ceramic coating done to it as well. The detailer said he couldn't believe how easy it was to clean. That's because of the ceramic coating that we did to it 3 years ago. It's a very easy bike to clean. Since I've been back, I've changed a few things on it as well, just so it's a little bit extra special for that new owner, the winner of this bike. I've got to be honest, it was emotional riding back from the Pyrenees because I knew it was my last run on this bike. I love the bike dearly, but it has to go. It's always been purchased for the company. It's been a stage. That's what it is. It's a stage for the products that we develop and that we sell through our business. And we all know the new, whatever they're going to call it, the R1250 GSA, we don't know what it's called. We know that's coming and the business is going to need it. So I'm taking a huge gamble, getting rid of my beloved bike. And guess what? The mileage on there. So we know it's nearly 3.5 years old. The mileage on there is still under 12,000 miles. I think the Speedo says 11,910. So it's incredibly low mileage, full service history. You know it's been looked after. The reason the mileage is so low is because I have other bikes to play on all the time. And I also took my Triumph Tiger when I had that down to Corsica, so 3,000 of miles went on that instead of this. So that's why I can keep the mileage down nice and low. If you've been following the channel, you know what I've done to this bike, the amount of equipment that we put on this bike. It's had so many different disguises over the years. But what I've put on there today are new Gillles foot pegs. I don't know why I didn't fit these months ago. These are the foot pegs that I got in specifically for the R1300GS, but then later Gillles told me, you do realize they fit the R1250 and the R1200 as well. So I want you to see these on the bike. I haven't gone for a proper ride on it, but they are nicer than the Gillles standard 719, the option 19 ones I've had on there for the last 3 years. They are nicer, very nice and grippy under the feet. I'm really, really pleased with them. Plus, they set the bike off really, really well. I'll try and list as much as I can actually on the raffle page, so the link down below, everything that it's got on there. But just to run through it quickly, I'm probably going to miss a load of bits. D7s, Amber D2s, D3s, 2 ezCANs, you've got visor dongles on the back, and you've got the GS911. We've reprogrammed the rear lights, and also I've deleted the front cruise lights so it's not confusing other people out there on the road whether we're indicating or not, so they only flash when we indicate. But all this can be configured on a GS911, and the winner who picks this up, if they want to change anything via the GS911, we can do that before they ride it away. Probably best if I walk around the bike right now and talk you through everything that I can see that I know we've done to this bike over the last 3 years. Let's start from front to back. We've got the ammo guard. So I've upgraded the lens on my ammo guard to the new Chameleon one, which gives you really nice oranges and greens and stuff from certain angles when the headlight's off. I really like it. And if you want that for your bike, well then I'll show you on the website where that is so you can buy that for yourself. It comes with a tinted rally screen. We've gone back to the factory indicators here, but as I mentioned, we've turned off the DRL cruising lights, so they only flash when you indicate. D7s here, got D2s with amber lenses, and then we've got D3 spotlights down here. I've configured them in a way where they only come on at certain times. We've also updated the ezCAN on this, so when you turn the bike on and the engine is running, that is when power goes to the lights. This is really good for saving the battery. So as we're moving back, you see we've got the carbon fiber ilmberger flaps that go each side of the radiator. These are very expensive, but they look so good. I've had painted ones on here before, and it's just not as good as the carbon fiber. I know we don't need carbon fiber on this bike, but it just looks so damn good. We've got this really, really nice powder coating on the crash bars. We've got the Evotech sliders going through. If you remember 3.5 years ago, I had the SW Motech ones on there. I now wanted the Evotech sliders, Evotech caliper guards. I'll make sure that the bike comes with the original BMW navigation cradle, so you'll have that prep, but that will come separately. You will get my own Carpe Iter navigation tablet on here. I'll clear all my information off there. It's only been used for one road trip, so you'll get that on there. Gives me an excuse to go and put another brand new one on my next bike. And that works seamlessly with the Wizzy wheel on the handlebar, and you've got some extra buttons here on the right-hand side for quick functions. Really, really good system. It was a godsend on my road trip, and I can't wait to use it again on my next road trip in September on my R1300GS. We've got the powder coated Barkbusters, really sets the bike off, and I know that if I do take this bike off road, which I have done in the past, that I know that if I go into branches, trees, or I drop the bike down, that all of the controls, all my levers and everything are safe because I've got that extra reinforcement with the Barkbusters. Standard factory handguards are just not going to cut it because they'll just break and you'll break all your levers and stuff. We've got the brand new double takes. So the brand new double takes are on the website as well. These are only released in May this year. Don't just think of them as the perfect mirror for off-roading. They are better than any other mirror I've ever used. I'm gonna say that because I sell them, I get that, but you know what I'm on about when I say about that vibration over a certain speed. These don't do that. I don't know how they manage it, they just don't do it. And the arms, the new arms are just extra sexy. Then we've got the ASV levers. I really miss this because ASV haven't currently, at today's date, haven't got a lever ready for the R1300GS, and that's the only thing, in my opinion, that ruins that bike. Bear in mind, my R1300GS, I'm not saying it's a better bike than this. I love this bike, but the R1300GS is phenomenal. It's fantastic off-road. I love it, but it's not as comfortable as this for the big long road trips. And I really wish, I can't wait for the ASVs to come out for the R1300GS, because that's one of the first things I'll be doing, is fitting that. I just love the functionality, the feel of them, the ergonomics, the aesthetics of the ASVs. They are so, so good. Then as we look down the front here, I've changed my bar risers, because if you remember rightly, going back over 3 years ago, I had the 14mm bar risers, which we still stock and sell today, but I really like the variable ones. So I fitted the variable ones, brings it down just a little bit lower, and I've got that adjustability going back and forth as well. Plus, as you're sitting on the bike looking down, they look sweet. And remember, I did a lot of paint work on this 3.5 years ago, so all the stock head is painted black. We've gone to that effort, we took the forks off. We went to a lot of effort to make sure that we did the tiniest bits on here just to make it different from any other bike out there. You'll see loads of triple blacks out there, or quad blacks if you want to call it that, where they've gone to the measure of trying to do something very similar to this, but they haven't taken the forks off, they haven't taken the yoke off, and taking these small bar parts off to get it true black. It's a nice feeling when you're riding the bike, seeing everything that was silver is now black. I haven't used this. This is a brand new SW Motech Micro Waterproof. Our most popular SW Motech tank bag is the Micro, the non-waterproof version, which has an expander at the bottom. Now they've gone and made a waterproof version. We've got loads of these in stock because I know they're going to be popular. So this, never been used, just got it out of the bag today. This will be on the bike for you with a tank ring on there, which clips just onto there. So I thought I'd include that with the bike. Do I need to mention that the bike came with the option 719 stuff on there? That's how I spec'd the bike out 3.5 years ago. That, again, another great thing about this bike. It's got everything on it. As we look down here on the handlebar, we've got the Jekill and Hyde button because we have the Jekill and Hyde exhaust. If you want to hear it, I'll put a video link down below and up above so you can see that video of the Jekill and Hyde on this bike. There's so much content on this already out there. If I do it now, I'm just repeating old content and this video is going to be way too long. If you also remember 3.5 years ago, I didn't want the adventure luggage rack. I wanted the non-adventure luggage rack because I prefer the feel of it, and my pillions prefer the grab handle on the back. It just looks a lot tidier at the back. I like it. So you get the GS luggage rack at the back. I've put the GS Adventure Zimmer frame as I call it at the back. I'll put it back on for your panniers. We can take this off for you and we can send it to you in the post, but this is back on here because I've just done that road trip with my daughter and I used the new EMD luggage. On that note, let's quickly get that now. So here's the EMD luggage. These will come with the bike as well. These just clip straight on to the side of the bike, like so. One and two. Really easy to access inside here. You can't fault this stuff. I've been using it, like I say, on the last road trip I did. You've got a waterproof liner on the inside here. You can either, like I just showed you, what my daughter and I were doing, we're pulling up at the hotel, put the key in the top, twist the top off, and then push the lever across, and that's it. You then take that into your hotel, just like that. As you can see, there's an extension piece in the back here. These come with these bags, so if you like the look of these bags, then we've got these in stock on the shelf, ready to ship straight away. Really, really good bags. Very happy with them. And we got absolutely peed down on as well, and it kept everything dry, so that's quite cool. But if you want to, you can literally just take out the liner. And there you go. So you can have your clothes in there and you could carry it up into your room just like this inside the waterproof liner. Don't forget, we've got the emblem lights on here as well. I decided to turn mine off as a DRL, but they still flash when you indicate. On the back, we fitted the visor dongles so we can eliminate the red light on the respective side when we're indicating. It makes it extremely clear. A lot of you will be watching this and thinking, oh, I've done that with my GS911. Actually, no, you haven't. The GS911 cannot replicate what the visor dongles do on the multifunctional turn signals. And what I'm going to do, show you some footage right now of this going in the workshop yesterday, putting the multifunctional turn signals back on here with the visor dongles, but also showing you the programming of the GS911. So the bike has literally just come back from the detailers, and I wanted to take off my Visor Evo lights because they had a blue LED in there, which is part of the R&D work we've been doing with one of the police forces in the UK. So I didn't think it'd be advisable to leave that on there. So I've actually returned the bike back to the stock indicators. There's a lot of confusion about how we can reprogram our multifunctional turn signals. As you can see, I've got the 1250 GSA here, I've got the center light, and I've got the two side lights here. And on the post 2021 bikes, on the GS and the GSA, these turn signals became an actual running light and a brake light as well as an indicator. I've got loads of videos in the past. I'll put links up above and down below to those videos where we have introduced the visor dongles. And the dongles sort the issue. But then moving on to the S1000 or the S series bikes, the R1300GS, we can see there's a trend now where BMW are phasing out the center light. A lot of you have said, well, do you know what? Those dongles are no longer any good because although we are cancelling out the red light on the respective side when we indicate, when we press the hazards, well then we've got no red light on the back at all. As I've said in the previous video, Weiser then made an alteration to those dongles. They're now called the V5s. We've got them in stock today. So if you fit the V5s to your bike, which is specifically for the S bikes and the R bikes, the S bikes and the R1300GSs that hasn't got a center light, well, you only get the two dongles, but you can connect the two dongles together. So when you hit the hazard lights, it then reverts back to factory. So when the hazards are on, you'll still have the red light in the background. You can't see the indicators very clearly, but at least we still have that factory light back when we are using our hazards. Since then, Hex have really done so much amazing work with the GS911, and they now say, well, we can do all of that without having to plug dongles in. I'm here today to tell you that you cannot replicate what the visor dongles do with the GS911, but you can do some stuff on it. And I know a lot of people are very happy because what the GS911 will do, and I'm going to show you right now, this is my phone on another tripod in front of the tripod and the camera. So you can see it clearly when I start showing you. I've got the GS911 plugged into the bike right now on the ramp. and I'm going to show you what we can do with the GS911. But in short, this is what I'm finding. People are coming to us and asking us to redo their rear lights. And when I'm showing them how I've set other customers' bikes up, well then they tend to be going for the option that I recommend, which I'm going to show you now. I use the best of both worlds. The GS911 reprograms that center light here perfectly. We can have that on as a running light, so we can reignite this as a run light. So when we're indicating, or when we're using our hazards, for instance, that center light can come back on as a run light. The reason I love using the GS911 to reignite that is because we have a level of control. We can go from 10% right up to 90 or 100%. The visor dongle is preset to 50%. That is apparently the brightness of the pre-2021 bike. So the difference between run and brake, you can see it because the run's at 50% and the brake's at 100%. But if we can set it to 10%, well then the difference is a lot bigger between run and brake, which I feel, personally myself, I know a lot of people have got different opinions, I feel that that's safer, but it also depends on what else we add to our bike. So as you can see here, I've got the T3. I'm jumping from so many different things here. I'm so sorry, I've got so much going on up here. But we've got the T3 light down here, the single T3. This is wired into my ezCAN. If I want to, I can program this to be off. So imagine you haven't got that on your bike. All you've got is this. And when I hit the indicator, I haven't programmed anything onto this bike at all. So this is factory, this is how you have it. And when we hit the brakes, the indicator, the amber indicator becomes even less significant. So when we plug the dongle in, it cancels the red light on the respective side, making the amber really, really clear. Now, because I've decided to put a T3 down here through an ezCAN, well then that gives us red light here, and it also gives us red light over here if we're indicating left. So I'm kind of like already helping to make myself being seen more by making sure this is a clear amber turn signal. We've got a red run light and brake light here, and we've got a red run light and brake light here, or we could just have it as a brake light, all right? But what we can do here is if we plug the dongle in to the center light, well then that will give us that 50% light, which as I say, I think is too bright, because you're gonna get this like a pattern of 3, which we've got here, but you'll have a pattern of 3 here. What the GS911 will not do at the moment, and I don't know if it ever will, is it can't turn the red light off on the respective side when we're indicating. We can turn it off completely, and I'm going to show you that now, which means you need to reignite this as a run light and a brake light, because otherwise you're going to lose both red lights all the time. So it means they will not run at all as a run light. However, we can still run it as a brake light, and I'll show you that in a second as well. So which means when we indicate, although we've turned the running light off, when we indicate, the brake light comes on the side that we're indicating on. So we're back to square one again. That indicator, the amber light, isn't very clear when we're braking. So again, visor wins hands down on that one, but I'm not happy with that center dongle that comes from visor. So these are what the dongles look like. These are the dongles that work at the back of the bike, and they come in this box just here. You don't just get those, you also get a rear dongle as well. So in this box, you get 3 dongles for the rear, but we don't use that center dongle. Well, I don't use it because I don't want to reignite it at 50% run light. So what I recommend is you buy the rear for the S series bike, but it's also the same dongles that we use on the R1300GS because there's no center light. And inside here, you just get those 2 rear dongles for the turn signals. You've then got the front modules as well. So the front modules via visor, you get 2 dongles here, you just plug them in and it cancels off the front lights. So the front lights are off, you've got no running light there at all, but when we indicate, they flash just like a conventional indicator does. Or you can buy the combo kit. So in here, you get all 5. You get 3 for the rear and you get 2 for the front. But what I'm recommending to you today is if you really want to reconfigure all your lights, well then buy a GS911 to reprogram your center lights and to cancel off the front cruising lights. And I'm going to show that right now how we do it. But then you still buy the rear dongles for the S series bikes, even for the R1250GS Adventure and GS. You still buy that, okay? Because that's going to make it really clear. And at the end of this section of the video, I'm going to show you how much clearer it is. Okay, so the GS911 is plugged into the OBD port on the bike. The bike is turned on. I've got it on a battery tender, so it's not going to go dead on us. If I indicate, you can see this is standard factory mode. The front DRLs are also on, so this is exactly how the bike would come out of the factory. What I'm going to do, just so we don't have any confusion, I'm just going to unplug the T3 light. So I've unplugged the T3. This is how a post 2021 GSA comes out of the dealership. So there we go. Crazy, isn't it? If I hit the indicator, so bad. Just want to apologize now that the bike is slightly out of focus because I want to focus on the camera here, okay? We're actually using Tom's GS911. You might see his name on here. This is not a training video on how to use the GS911. I'm connected to it. I'm not going to do an auto scan right now because I've already done one. The bike is in great shape. Actually, do you know what? I will, just so you can see. So there we go. Look at that. Isn't that a picture of health for a bike? Right. So from there, we're going to go back that way. We're going to go to detected vehicle. And then from here, obviously there's so many things we can go through, but what we are focusing on is body controller. And then here, we're going to go to service functions. And then coding functions. And here, this is all of the stuff to program the front and rear lights how we want them. We are focusing on configuration and cruising lights. So if I go to configuration, brake light intensity 100%, run light intensity is 10% because this is currently how the bike comes out of the factory and that is enabled, but we can change this. So if I wanted to, I could change this to, let's go to 50%. Hit continue. What it's doing now, can you see the bike? It's just doing its own thing now. Well, it's not its own thing. It's based on what I'm doing to the GS911. It's going through like a reboot, if you like. There we are. That is now, we've now reconfigured this. That is all set back up again. So that's now 50% run light. And the brake light is doing that. If anything, it just makes it even more dangerous. But I'm just showing this to you so you can see an example of how this works. So I'm going to come back out of there, back into coding functions. If you are playing around with your GS911 and you don't know what you've changed, you can just go straight back to restore coding, but we don't need to do that. So configuration, and we're going to bring this back down to 10% again. No, what we're going to do now is put this onto 0%. And hit continue. There we go. It's going through its thing again. So that's like you just turn the ignition back on again. And there we are. That is now, the bike is on. We've got nothing here because I haven't changed this yet, and these are off. But when I hit the brake, they're going to come on at 100% because we left it at 100%. And we've got the indicator as well. So we've got a nice clear indicator. And when I hit the brake, we're back here to how it is as factory. So the indicator is not clear at all. So let's cancel that indicator. And let's come back to it again. But this time, the additional brake light as a running light, we are going to enable this now. And we're going to enable it to 50%. This is the brightness you would get. This is the brightness you would get if you were to plug a visor center dongle light in. So hit continue. Okay, so it's going through its startup phase again, the bike is. And there we are. So there is a 50% run light. When I hit the brake, they should all come on. And you can see the difference here. Indicators are still the same as the last example. Okay, that's 50%. So what we're going to do now is turn off the brake light on the multifunctional turn signals. Because this is what people are doing just with the GS911. Right, we're going to enable that. We're going to put this down to 0. We're going to put the running light at the back down to 10%. Actually, no, 50%. 50, keep it on 50%. Continue. There we go, that's now fired up again. So here we are. We are now back at a pre-2021 model bike. So if you've got a 2019 GS Venture, this is what you currently have. Yeah. If I hit the indicators, there we go. If I hit the brake, and that is going from, let me just double check again what we're on. Can't remember myself. Coding functions, configuration, 50%. So that is literally how it was. So as I'm looking at it, how clear are you finding that? Because that is back to how it used to be. If I cancel that indicator, that's it, that's what you've got. You've got no red light coming out of here at all. We're completely cancelling it. If I put the hazards on, brake, okay. So the only way I can think of improving this right now is if we reduce the running light intensity down to 10 or 20%. I like it at 10%. This is why this is amazing. There we go. So that's exactly the same, but at 10%. So you've got a big difference between run light and brake light. Indicators, braking, so if you're happy with that, going back to that version, then all you need is a GS911. That's all you need. Or if you know someone with one and they're offering that service, we do it here. If you want to come here, we will plug in our GS911 and we'll charge you a fee to reprogram, and we'll configure it exactly how you want it, okay? But now have a look at what the visors are going to do. This is how we send the majority of our customers away with a smile on their face. It does cost a bit more, but take a look. So we're still going to keep the run light intensity on that brake light at 10%. And then what we're going to do is put everything back to how it was as factory. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to quickly do the whole restore settings so you know it's back at factory settings. So coding functions, restore coding. I'm going to put it back to November. So last time I plugged this bike in, November, hit restore. Here we go. So what I'm going to do is just enable that rear light again, but only at 10%, not at 50%. So we're going to hit that. All right, so we have this. So that is what we're going to have as we're going down the road. But at the moment, we still have that, which is not very good. So let's plug in the dongles. Okay, so here are the dongles, just here. So when you take the back of the bike off, you don't actually need to take the whole back off. If you're just plugging these in, you can just take the rear seat off. But it's just easy for you to see. Obviously, I've got a lot going on here because we've got two ezCANs running this. But there are clips just here. And these are the indicators inside these clips, both on the opposing sides. So the left side, you pull this out, you unplug it, and then you just plug it in line. That goes in one side, you can't get it wrong really. And then this goes in the other side. And we will tidy that up shortly. And then the other side, so here it is just there. We unplug it, plug that in there, plug that in the other side, and there we go. Right, let's now take the camera back and show you what's happened. I've left it like this where it's focusing on the phone. We don't really need to look at the phone right now, but I don't want to make any unfair comparisons. I haven't turned the bike off, I've literally just plugged them in. I did it whilst the bike was on, which maybe I shouldn't have done that, but it won't do any harm. And so exactly how it was when I left it. When I hit the indicator, there we go, cancelling. That is what the GS91 cannot currently do. I'm not saying they're not going to be able to master this in the future, but they haven't done it on their first run of it. So if you want it like this, so you've got this as a run light and a brake light, and you want these still to remain as a run light, you need to fit the rear dongles, okay? When I hit the brake, look at that. Loads of brake, loads of red light, loads of rear running light, and a nice clear amber indicator. Let's do the other side. And again, 10% to 100%, 10% to 100%. Okay. When I hit the hazards, obviously we completely lose the red light on the respective sides. But with the GS911, we've turned this back on again. If you want to, you can, as I showed you, buy the rear dongle for the center light. So instead of using a GS911, but as I mentioned before, it comes on at 50%. I would show you right now, but I've got to take the whole back off here to get the rear light off to access that plug. Actually, on that note, we get a lot of people who have got that rear light dongle just for the center light, and they're telling us, well, the actual words we hear is, I'm not stupid. We get that a lot. But they accidentally plug it into the wrong plug at the back of the bike. You have to plug it directly into the actual light itself. There's two plugs at the back here. You've got one which is near the back, and you've got the one actually on the light itself. You have to go to the one on the actual light, and you plug the dongle in line on that one there. And then it'll work. The way I set my bike up is I don't even do this. I don't even do this because I've got my T3. I don't even want that on as a run light. So I'm going to plug my T3 back in. So plug that back in. I've got that programmed through my ezCAN on at 10%. So as you can see, let's cancel the hazards. So we've got 4 running lights here now. Yeah, so I like to have something as a sole brake light. So there's definitely value in having everything you see here. So let's turn off the run lights. Well, I can just disable it completely. There we go, hit continue. There we go. So that is my running light there. And now we've got full brake light on the factory rear lights. Indicator. And that way. Right. There we go. Now let me take you to the front of the bike and show you how it works on there. So as I showed you earlier, if you buy the front dongles It's literally a plug and play thing. You take off the front of the beak. If you don't know how to take the beak off, I'll put a video link down below, how to strip down your GS or your GS Adventure. I made the video years ago now. It helped lots of people out, getting their bikes out. But you can access the plugs for the indicators. If you don't know where to find them, all you've got to do is just, you follow the wire around the side once the panel's off, and you'll see the plugs just lying underneath here. Just like I showed you on the back, we unplug that, we plug these dongles in line and plug it all back together again, and it will cancel off these completely. So you lose that amber DRL, which arguably is dangerous going down the road. It looks really good, but it's probably potentially dangerous because people just glance at your bike and thinking, oh, is he indicating? Because you can't quite see the one at that angle, but they can see that. They end up turning out on you and you end up T-boning them. Not great. So if you want to be safer, then you can buy these and plug them straight in. However, if you've bought the GS911, you can do it on here, and I'm going to show you how. So back to coding functions. Instead of configuration, we're now going to go down to the cruising lights. It's actually worth noting, we can turn cruising lights on the back. You can have amber cruising lights at the back. Why, I have no idea, but maybe in other countries, I know in the UK it's completely illegal. I'm pretty sure we can't put amber rear-facing lights, but we can do it. And I'll tell you what, I'll show you in a second. So auxiliary lights, fog lights and cruising lights, cruising light front, cruising light rear. So the cruising light front is enabled, which you can see right now. And the cruising light rear is disabled because it doesn't come out of the factory like that. So cruising light daytime intensity 10%, cruising light nighttime intensity 10%. So if we wanted to, we could turn up the volume, the brightness of these. So if I go to, actually before I hit continue, just so we can see, when I hit the indicator, you can see that these get brighter on the indicator, yeah? When I cancel, it goes back to 10%. So if I now hit continue, the bike's going to go through its initialization again. There we go. And they apparently are at 50% brightness now. I'm not seeing it, but apparently they are. Back to cruising lights. So if I cruising light, because it thinks it's night time, let me put that to 50%. Tell you what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it to 100%. Right. So it's just shutting down. You just get rid of that. I've got a little light here tricking the front. There we go. So that should be 100% now apparently. So if I hit the indicator, yeah, actually I can see that. They're not getting any brighter. They're just flashing off and on. So that's 100% brightness. That's an option. You can raise this if you want to make it even brighter. Going back onto here, I'm not going to restore coding because I don't want to change the back rear light. So we're going to go back onto cruising lights. Put that back to 10%. So you've got daytime and nighttime. But this time we're going to disable the front cruising light. All right, so auxiliary lights enabled, and I think when it says auxiliary lights, I think it's referring to the nanopods, the actual white nanopods that come with a GS Adventure, and they can obviously be spec'd up on the 1250 and 1200 GSs as well. But the cruising lights are just the amber lights themselves. So I've disabled the front lights. The cruising rear light is still disabled, but I'm going to enable that so you can see what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to hit continue. And it's going to do its reboot. But now it's going to come on and the turn signals, the cruising lights are now off. Now when we indicate, it's just an indicator and the other side is off all the time. And that is how we're going to leave it, because I think it looks better like that. Let me show you the back. I don't know if you can see that very clearly on the camera, but that is now an amber DRL at the back with the red light around it. You could keep going with this. We could go back and we could turn the red light off completely and just have these as ambers if you want that. You're going to get pulled over by the police very quickly if you did that here in the UK. But maybe in the US it's allowed, maybe in Australia, I don't know. But I just want to let you know that the amount of versatility you have with the GS911. So when I hit indicate on this now we're making it even less visible. So over here we've got a red and an amber on at the same time. But over here we've got the red and the amber flashing. Yeah, does that make sense? Don't know why you want to use it, and when I hit the brake, obviously it's just almost impossible to see, but there it is. Okay, so that's just a bit of an experiment. I'm now going to turn off the rear cruising lights so it's back to exactly how I want it. Actually, I wonder if it's worth noting that what we could do, hard to test it in here in this environment, but if you notice it had daytime and nighttime settings for the cruise lights for the front. Let's not even think about the rear. I can't understand why we want to do that. But on the front, if you wanted to, you could have your DRLs, your amber cruise lights on during the daytime, but have them off at the night time, or other way around. You could have them on at night time and have them off at the daytime. The settings were on there, so we could do that as well. There's my recommendation, GS911 with a set of rear visor dongles. That is the way you reconfigure all your lights so you are safer on the road. Okay, I put links in the description. The amount of people who watch my videos and say, where do I go? Links in the description, abikething.com. On the website, select visor in the brand, select hex in the brand, select GS911 in the category, select your bike in the bike selector. Use the website, use the search filter to help you find what you want to find. The website's very easy to use, okay? Welcome back. I'm sorry this has turned into a very long video now, but it's worth it. One of you is going to win this bike, and you're going to be coming back here and looking at this video over and over and over again, seeing your new toy before you are able to come and collect it. There's no harm in keep on showcasing this bike, so I'll make sure that this video is as juicy as possible, showing you all the nicest B-roll of everything on this bike. What else is on here? I know I've forgotten to mention things. I know I have. Okay, yep, so we've got the R&G bezel, the dash guard that goes around the TFT. I did find that the Perspex screen that comes with the dash guard can be easily scratched. So I've actually completely removed the Perspex guard, because like you could put one of those Speedo Angel things on there, just like you get on your iPhone. So you've got a screen protector on there and then fit the dash guard. I'm not bothered. You can still do that if you want to. But all I've done is I've removed that piece of Perspex because I'm going for that look and I don't care about the protection. Maybe I should, but it doesn't bother me. I never put a screen protector on my phone, so I'm not that bothered. So little things like the SW Motech frame cap just here on the center. We've got Evotech Spindle slider going through the rear hub and also on the rear swing arm as well. So in the unfortunate circumstances you do drop this bike, hopefully there's enough protection on here to keep impact away from the key parts of the bike. This bike is also going to be at ABR, so you can come and view it. We're going to put a nice little stage together so you can come and see this bike in the flesh. A lot of you have seen it in the past before, but it's not going to be ridden. It's not going to be taken out on any road trips at all. The mileage is going to stay as it is until the new winner picks it up. Oh, I forgot to mention, it is due a service, so I will be taking it to the dealer for a service before the 2nd of August when the draw is happening. So bearing in mind, there's only 10,000 tickets. I've heard that ABR have sold 16,000 tickets. So 16,000 people are due to go through those doors at ABR. I think our stand, we've got this great big inflatable stand, it's going to be the tallest stand there. It's massive. I could not believe the size of it when we put it up in our courtyard. It's huge. So basically what I'm trying to say is there's not enough tickets to go around everybody at ABR. We're going to sell thousands to people who are subscribed to the channel and watching this video on YouTube, but there's only so many that we can sell. So we're limiting it to 10,000. There won't be enough tickets to go around at ABR. So get in quick so you don't miss out on this opportunity, because once we get to 10,000 tickets sold, technically we can do the draw. We can just go ahead and do the draw early, and I will make sure I will announce that ahead of time as well if we end up doing it early. And it'll always be a live draw, so you can see there's no funny business going on whatsoever. Always will be a live draw. All the terms and conditions are on the website. It's very important that we adhere to exactly what the terms and conditions say. Some of you may be thinking, well, the last raffle you did, Steve, the Triumph Tiger, we didn't see the draw. But okay, the draw happened, and the draw is still available to watch right now on Facebook. So if you go to a Bike Thing Facebook page and scroll through the last 6 or 7 months when I last did that raffle, you will see that live draw. It's not live anymore, but you'll see it as it was done live. So the draw will be done live at 8 p.m. on the 2nd of August. That's Friday, the 2nd of August at 8 p.m. In British time, GMT. The actual raffle will end 3 hours before that at 5 o'clock. So that is your last opportunity to buy any raffle tickets. Now, my feeling is, I think we're going to sell out. I'm capping the raffle tickets at 10,000 tickets. That's it. We've put a pricing thing together on the raffle page where one ticket is £5, and then if you buy 5 tickets, well, then you get a discount. The maximum you can buy in one transaction is 100 tickets, but we give you a discount for that. I know it's a lot of money, and I know a lot of you be thinking, oh, if he sells all 10,000, he's done well, hasn't he? Well, I've never said I'm not a business. I am a business. And this bike is super rare. And to be fair, what I'm hearing from you is that this is a bit of a special bike. It's very special to me. I'm going to struggle to let this go, genuinely struggle to let it go. I've got a proper relationship with this bike, and whoever takes it, I kind of like want to follow it. I want to know, I want to keep in touch with you. I want to know what's going on with it, okay? It's very important to me, but we can't physically keep this bike here and take another bike on for financial reasons, but also because of space reasons. We're running out of space. We're getting so busy here. Space is certainly an issue, but as long as I've got a bike to ride, I should be happy. And hopefully this new adventure bike that BMW bring out will be a nice replacement for her. I don't think there's anything else to say now, apart from good luck, everybody. Get on there and secure your tickets. Until next time, stay safe behind bars. Not these bars, these bars. And I'll see you in the next video or at ABR.